So just don't say anything until after the music plays.
All right.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, welcome back to another show. Tonight's topic is, of course, dating scene. If we stay within dating scene, I don't know if we will, but I see that Jerry's there, and hello, Jerry, and also see that staying insane amongst the sanities with us. You know, actually, just staying insane amongst the insanity. I think you did a pretty good job
I'm
earlier.
trying.
You did a short little video.
I'm trying to get in, man. It just take my computer's like fucking painfully slow. I mean, it's freezing up, and it's. Give me just a second. I'll get right into the chat room.
Yeah, but anyhow,
I'm clicking on it now.
staying insane amongst the sanities here, and he did a quick
Here it
little
is.
video in there about trolls. And I like what he said about trolls because it's so true. So I just wanted to give him a shout out and let him know I watched his videos. I also seen he was up in Vegas. There's a pretty interesting on the hotel down there, luxury hotel in the Manor Bay video that Jerry shared with me. Just actually pretty dang good. It's an old one from Bill Cooper, but he did a really good job on it, and that just shows how long that hotel's been around. But anyhow, I have noticed that a lot of the issues with men are trolls attacking TFLers. Okay, that goes on and on and on all the time. And so I understood what he was talking about. And I think a lot of them are actually probably TFLers in denial themselves. And they get offended by somebody talking about the same issues that they're having themselves. And they're going to hide it because they don't want to be ostracized. They want to fit in. You know that groupthink thing where you got to think with the brain in the jar? You can't use your own brain. You can't have individuality. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about there. And that's one of the reasons I think you should see a lot of that going on. Is because of the groupthink.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty pathetic. And then there was something else that happened tonight I found interesting. Oh, YouTube here, they're comedians, you know. I scheduled the show for 9 o'clock. Here we are live at 9 o'clock. And I noticed on my other channel that I can't do videos on because I have strike two. You know, strike two. They're getting ready to take it down the channel down on me. Well, anyhow, I was on that channel and I went to subscriptions. And there was my show that I'd scheduled a couple hours earlier. So it was already being flown for people to see, my subscribers to see, but they had changed the time on it to 7 p.m. My first thought was, oh no, did I mess up when I scheduled it? Maybe I scheduled it to 7 because that's when Jerry and I do our show. So I went over to I got two browsers open. I got Google Chrome open and I got Firefox open. And so I go over to Firefox where I'm logged into this channel here and went and checked because I just know I must have messed up. Well, guess what? I didn't mess up. It was scheduled to 9 o'clock like it's supposed to be. Nothing, I wasn't wrong. And so I go back over and look at Google Chrome on that channel, and there it is. It's saying 7 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. So Google, I guess, decided to think it was funny to manipulate the time so the people would miss the show. So I went ahead and posted a video on my channel and showed everybody what they'd done for what they could see. But I thought that was comical of Google. So, you know, I appreciate that, Google. You know, I don't mind it when you do that because I don't mind showing the world what you're doing. So if you want to show the world you're a bunch of pack of criminal and liars, go ahead. I don't mind.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Warren, you got anything you want to say?
I don't know. I mean, what's the topic for tonight?
Well, it's a dating scene topic or whatever you want to talk about topic, or
Yeah.
whatever our guests want to bring up. I mean, Staying Insane wants to bring something up, or Marty McFly, that would be
Who?
Warren. Yep. And then we have our other guest right there all day. So, or Jerry, whichever. Somebody types something in and wants to ask something, go ahead. Otherwise, just shoot away, Warren.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm really not even that much interested in the damn dating anymore, man. Yeah, I mean, every now and then I'll have my moment, man. But I don't even like. I'm more interested in the New World Order side of things now. To be honest, man. I mean, as I get older, man. I mean, it's like I care less and less and less about women anymore, man. Honestly, I mean. I acknowledge where it plays into everything, the role that it plays, and I mean, what I've uncovered. I mean, I guess I've gained knowledge from it, but it's like I
So,
think I'm kind of ready at the point to move on from all that.
so Aaron Blue there says they tried to give him a strike today over a playlist, and the playlist didn't have any videos in it. Well, that sounds like something Google would do. You must be speaking some truth somewhere, maybe in comments. Maybe you done a video. Maybe you got some comments where you're talking about truth. You know that's an enemy, right? In today's society, truth makes you a terrorist, right? That's some terrorist acts.
As he said, I want to talk about how no one wants to talk about moving out of America. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. It takes a lot of money to move out of America, man. If I had the money, I would.
I can think of a couple great spots
Yeah.
to go, okay? There's a couple of cities that's been built that don't have anybody in them. I think
Yeah.
that might be a pretty safe spot for the time being.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure
Here's
they
the
wouldn't
thing.
like
I
it there.
mean,
Go ahead.
they call it a new world order, right? You're not going to get away from them no matter where you go because it's going to be a global system. But some areas might be relatively better than others. But you're not going to escape it wherever you go. Bill could tell you about that night when his friend Nick was in Germany and he talking about that green laser.
Oh yeah, the green light that came
And
through
you
my window.
were in
I'm here in the U.S.
yeah. Yeah, you were here in the U.S.
Well, see, that first happened to me. Okay, that was something that happened to me. Upon dealing with Kathy Rubio and Roy Potter, yeah, Roy Potter's a shill. For anybody that knows who Roy Potter is up on YouTube, he's a paid shill. He's a plant. He's going to lead you down the rabbit hole. He's not an honest man. I don't care if he says he's ex-Lieutenant Roy Potter or not. He's ex-idiot. He's a paid shill. But anyhow, after dealing with them and calling out Roy Potter on lies they called him into back in the day, well, when I got attacked, what happened is that first off, I lost my job. And they wouldn't tell me why they were losing my job. And then they tried to fight paying me unemployment when they had to do what they call a fact-finding hearing on the phone. When the state asked them certain questions like, was this guy absent from work? No. Did he have anything? I mean, did you ever have to write him up for? No, he was an outstanding employee. He was there every day. He did a good job. Okay. So then they're like, well, so then why did you fire him? Well, see, he makes videos up on YouTube. Okay, so, but that happened. Then I had a couple of feds come to my door, but not before the green light. I had a green light come through my window and I had my Skype signal scrambled just before the green light came through the window. Then I had the green light, and I was talking to Nicholas every day, and he lives over in Germany. And he kept wanting me to move over to Germany and move in a flat with him, be a roommate with him, right? Well, a couple of weeks after the green light came through my window and all that crap happened, well, Nick had the green light come through his window. He was one up on him, though. He caught him on camera. And it was the exact same green light. And he caught the person on camera Okay, they were like a block away behind a tree, stooped down on the ground, pointing this thing right up at his window. So I knew what had happened. The reason they sent the light through his window was because they knew he would tell me. They knew they put it through my window when they scrambled my Skype signal. So they wanted me, and they knew he'd tell me. That was their way of letting me know that I can go to Germany if I want. They know where I'm at. That's all that was about. It was scare tactics.
Yeah, this guy's bringing up happier abroad, man. And the thing about happier abroad is what Winston Wu doesn't talk about is how much it's going to cost, man. You're talking about mega bucks. I mean, if I wanted to move to, like, let's say, some poor third world country in South America, I'm looking at least $20,000 to get over. And that's not including the red tape and customs and politics and everything else you've got to go through. There's a reason why Winston doesn't talk about any of this.
Well, Winston got mad at me years ago. He was saying the same thing, and I'll tell you what right now. Winston's not solving the dating problem. He's taken the very problem that was created by your government, the divided is that caused the women to do what they're doing, and he's taken that problem overseas. And he's promoting and doing the same thing. See, Winston had a wife and kids while Winston was running out behind her back. That's what Winston was doing. And he don't tell you the actual cost of going overseas to meet somebody, bringing them to America. That's a very expensive deal. You could wind up with 10 grand or more behind that, but he's not going to tell you that part.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Staying Insane Amongst Insanity can probably say some things on that, because he himself knows exactly what it is. I seen his video he posted on that. Okay, and he knows. Just like I know. I went over to
Yeah.
the Philippines. I met a school teacher over there. You know, and I went to Homeland Security and did the paperwork here, and she had to go for an interview and all this stuff and blah 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 blah. But anyhow, very expensive deal. And Winston will never tell you that in a million years. Okay, he's sending you down the rabbit hole, and he's taking the problem. There are some good spots in the Philippines where they still have morals. Okay, no, it's not Manila, by the way. Nope, it's not Manila. But if you get into some other spots of the Philippines, they still have some of the cultures still have strong family values. They still have morals, and they're doing the right things that should be happening over here that's not. Well, once the Wu gets his way, he'll corrupt them societies like they are here.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's taking the same dysfunction that he complained about that destroyed the dating culture in the West, and now he's importing it to these other countries and contaminating them with this same kind of nonsense. Because look at it, man. Winston Wu is a married man with a child, right? Why is he still running around trying to chase more pussy?
Yep, that's
Ask
exactly
yourself
it.
that.
Yeah, you want to think about
He's a
that and you
hypocrite, man.
realize
He's
it.
a hypocrite.
Yep.
He bitches about women doing all this shit, and he's doing the same shit. And he's contaminating cultures that as of yet haven't been contaminated with that shit yet. He's bringing this dysfunction over there and contaminating their cultures with it.
That's exactly what he's doing.
And the thing is Winston Wu comes from very wealthy parents, man. So of course you don't have to worry about where he's going to get the money to do all this shit. No. He's probably got his mommy and daddy sitting there forking him over. Oh, he got $10,000 to run around and blow up the mall and just have fun. You know, I mean, you know.
Yep. That's exactly it with Winston Wu, and I called him out on years ago. I called him out on that stuff, and he wouldn't say nothing. I would only tell you to stay away from happier abroad. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going overseas to meet somebody. I'm only saying you better plan a lot of money if you're going to do that. Okay? But I wouldn't go with Winston Wu because the guy's a scam artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he is, man. I mean, of course what Staying Sane says is he only goes after hookers. which I wasn't surprised. I think that's what a lot of the PUA gurus do. You know, what they do is a lot of these guys are TFLers themselves, and what they do is they sell this lie that they're going to be able to teach you this mental illness that we call game. You know, a mental illness can't be taught. That's what it is. It's a mental illness, and they sell them this lie. They prepackage this lie and use it to exploit these other TFL guys, and they're making money off of it. And they're probably using that money to go buy hookers, bro.
Oh yeah, well
that's real. That's real talk. That's probably exactly what's happening. That's when you see all these advertisements. We got these hot women in their little advertisements. How much you want to bet they're fucking paid hookers?
Oh yeah, well I watched Winston Wu make an ass out of himself years ago, and I thought it was pretty funny. He had posted a video up of himself in Russia, and he was with 3 Russian women, and he was showing off and blah blah blah. And you know how he got these women? Because he had money. He was flashing money. Okay, he flashes money, pays the money to get these women to take pictures with him, and he comes back. Well, anyhow, he done a video with these women, and they were talking in their tongue, their native tongue. I didn't understand a thing they were saying myself, and most of you wouldn't either. But you know what's funny about it? My friend over in Germany, he speaks Russian, German, and English, and he speaks all 3 of them fluent. His mother's Russian, okay? So he learned Russian language from his mother as a kid and grew up with it. He learned English, and he knows his German tongue. He speaks all 3 very fluently and is a very, very educated guy.
And he was able to translate what they were saying.
He translated it, yep, and they were talking smack right in his face, and he didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, that shows how stupid he got to be. I mean, if you don't even know what the fuck they're saying, why are you going to sit there and put them up on camera and post that online for everybody to see? And you don't even know what the fuck they're saying, man. I mean, like, and you know, I mean, how dumb do you got to be? You know, I don't even want to sound like I'm talking shit, but I mean, like.
Well, you know, it's pretty sad, and I know what I see what he's talking about stuff, and okay, that guy's a plant. I hope you people realize that. That guy's a shield. He's a plant. I don't know how many of you people realize that.
I don't think he's a knowing plant. I don't think Winston Wu is a knowing plant.
I'm not talking about Winston. I'm not talking about Winston, Warren. Read the last.
Molyneux.
Yes, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a plant.
So I wouldn't necessarily go with him because I listened, you know, this is actually funny, but I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'll bring this up. Nick sent me a video yesterday. He wanted me to watch it. He says, this guy's speaking a lot of good stuff. And I clicked on the video, and that's exactly who it was, what he just brought up. And what the guy was talking about is everything that I've already talked about for years. Nothing new. He's not bringing no new information whatsoever. And it was like, what a joke. And you're telling me, oh, this guy's, you know, it's like, wow, really.
You know, it is kind of the similar thing that Alex Jones was doing, right? Prior to all this big social justice warrior thing that went on, right? You know, or even at the early beginning of it, Alex Jones and stuff, all these people would claim that they were anarchists and they were anti-status, right? And then Donald Trump comes around, and they're on the status bandwagon again. What they're going to do is pull people who are waking up from government because of all this bullshit corruption going on and steer them right back into the fold of supporting the government again. Just, you know, it's bad cop, good cop. You know, the whole Democrat-Republican thing.
It is. And what staying insane amongst what staying insane amongst the insanity just said is spot on. Spot on. That's exactly what it is.
Because even Alex Jones, you look at it, he used to be against the government, and all of a sudden, once all this stuff started going on, now it seems like more he's primarily an alt-right figurehead, you know, which means he's he mainly speaks out against the left. I understand, like you know, they need to be spoken out. They're out of hand, but at the same time, I mean, what happens to speaking out against? I mean, acknowledging that the left and the right are part of the same system.
Well, Alex Jones was
You know,
Alex Jones was never against the government. That was all a stage show.
no, he wasn't.
That was all
Go
a
ahead.
stage show. He was never once ever against the government. He just played a fucking elaborate stage show for everybody to fucking, and they fell right down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's all they're to shepherd people right back into the flock, man. People who are starting to stray from the flock, they're there to shepherd them back in. That's what happened. You know, people were getting disillusionized from the system and stuff after 8 years of Bush and then 8 years of Obama. You know, so what do? They engineered it all right, which is pretty much the same grandpa traditionalist conservative values repackaged into a you know, for the young audience. But yeah, I mean, I see it, man. I see what
The Bohemian Grove deal with Alex Jones. You want to talk about a stage show? That was the biggest stage show you could ever see in your life. The man was invited into Bohemian Grove. If you look and see who Alex Jones's handlers are, you'll discover real quick the man's freaking in bed with the very people you're fighting against. He's just another fucking stage show, you know, it's just another plant. That's all he is.
Yeah, just as Stan saying, it says, you know, some psychopaths know when to change when they see the winds change. There you go. He's following the money, right? There's more money to be talked about and going against, primarily against, you know, slamming the left right now, rather than focus on the fact that the whole government is what you should be focused on.
Well, actually, it is. You know, a lot of the TFLers, they won't go near the topic of what I talk about. Even though I've done a lot of dating scene, and if TFLers come in here and they want to talk about dating scene topics tonight, I'm more than open to do that. But if they're not in here and they don't want to discuss dating scene topics, that's fine, because majority of TFLers are in denial to begin with. And the other fact is, most of them don't want to go look for the root cause. They don't want to actually look for the cause.
Let me break this down too here for a moment. Right now, what you got a situation which is reversed of what it was 40 years ago. 40 years ago, the conservatives were the mainstream establishment, and the liberals were the counterculture, right? Well, today the liberals are the mainstream establishment, and the conservatives are the new counterculture. And let me tell you something about these counterculture movements, man. Watch out for them, man, because they do more damage than they do good. It promotes nihilism, right? It promotes eugenics, and I can tell you, the left have done that through Darwinism. The right's doing that through stuff like PUA, or through stuff like Stormfront-type propaganda. They promote the idea of eugenics, nihilism, survival of the fittest, a toxic kind of mentality. And what it does, and of course they also, I mean, they promote this culture of blaming somebody else. You know, you hear racist blacks, you know, and all blaming the white man. You hear racist white men, the whites blaming the Jews for everything. Always blame somebody else. Don't take it, you know, instead of taking accountability for their own shit. You know, I mean, like. So I mean,
everything's
you can see how it pans out. Like liberalism destroyed the people of color, all the colored people, man, and the right's gonna do the same thing to the white people.
Yeah, that's not going to change, because the division is all the way across the board. If you actually look into division, it's in every part of your life. It's literally in every part of your life. And most people don't even realize that. And the division is what's keeping us divided.
Why they use these countercultures to do this, man, is because when you promote nihilism, right, you remove the moral compass, people become dumber, man, right? And because they eventually become so stupid that they're incapable of governing themselves, and they have to rely upon a centralized figure or authority to govern over them, right? That brings in socialism, right? Left-wing socialism is communism or expansionist, right? Globalist socialism. Right-wing socialism is nationalistic. That's how you know the future lies with the left, because they want to get rid of national borders, right? They want a global government. But it's all part of the same system, like I said. So. what you'll have is something similar to China. It's like 2/3 communist, 1/3 capitalist. You know, it's like culturally Marxist, but it's like economically capitalist. Like what'll happen is there's going to be a war, and the government loves to. I mean, they've already picked who they want to win the war, right? It's probably going to be the left. So what's going to happen is the left is going to win this war, but they're going to incorporate certain elements among the alt-right into their paradigm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You know what? I'm going to say something to Jerry here. He's a self-proclaimed king of the Jews now. That's fucking outstanding, man. You can go over there now and kick the Khazars out of position, will you? Just get on over there and throw them Khazars right on out, Jerry.
Yeah.
We'll defeat him yet. We got Jerry over here. He's gonna go throw the Khazars out, man. He'll be the self-proclaimed king.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is most people don't realize that when they say the Jews are really behind this stuff, that's actually not a joke. Okay? But the problem is everybody wants to blame the whole race. And it's not the whole race, it's a handful. The majority of Jews are just like you and I. They're good people. And the majority of them are just as asleep as a lot of Americans are and don't even realize it.
Yeah.
That's why I always told people, follow the money. Follow the money. Names and faces. Names and faces.
You know, always look at money as a motive, man, in everything, man. Whether it's people you subscribe to on YouTube, look and see if they're collecting money for their videos, man. That's a dead ringer. That either they're a useful idiot or they're a shill. And there's a good chance they're a shill. Even when it comes to investigating these movements, and where follow the money, like you said, follow the money, dude. You really got to start looking at those money signs, man. I mean, that'll tell you a lot about who you can open up to.
No, we're not going to nail Jerry. We're not going to nail Jerry to a cross. We're not going to tie him to a cross. Okay. You have my word, that's not going to happen to Jerry. He's not getting nailed to a cross. He's not getting tied to a cross. No. But as far as what Stan is saying, is talking about when it comes to Moxie, is correct. Just like with Alex Jones. These people fall right down the rabbit hole because, see, the guy's smart as a whip. He's a great speaker. And he's using that talent that he has. And these people just don't see through him.
What's happening too, Matt, is these elite Jews, if you will, they're actually using the common Jew, if you will, as the ultimate guinea pig for the world's largest eugenics scheme, which is Zionism. And they're actually being used as the butt of that. The common Jew is being used as the butt of that, man, and the catalyst for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They're being used, in a sense, they're the ultimate guinea pig. When they talk about how the Jews were God's chosen people in the Bible and all this shit, okay, bear in mind that these elites see themselves as co-creators with God. They see themselves as gods, right? Well, now, if you want to know what they're chosen for, I'll tell you what they're chosen for. They're chosen to be the preferred stock into breeding the new man. And again, that's why I go into on my radio shows. Bill Cooper went into that. This is hermaphrodite. It's a new man. And you can look at that symbolically on the Israeli flag. You can see the hermaphroditic Star of David, right? You can also see it connects where Asia, Africa, and Europe all connect with that one little pin drop on the map. That's symbolic. It represents Europe, Asia, and Africa, right? Because this hybrid slave is one hybrid gender, one hybrid race, and everything else. And the reason why it's one hybrid race is because it's taking the best genes from each stock to creating this slave. I've done a lot of research on this whole esoteric concept of the new man and where this is going, man. And this is the ultimate goal of what the past 4,000 years have been about.
That's it.
Well,
they want the perfect slave. And they don't want too many perfect slaves, though. But they're getting their population reduction. People don't realize that a lot of the stuff, when they taught you survival of the fittest and the gene pool, that's eugenics. Okay? And they've been practicing eugenics for years. And they're doing it right under your nose. You donate for the cure for cancer, don't you? I mean, I wouldn't donate a penny to it because they've had the cure for cancer for years.
Well, let me explain how this works to people in case they're wondering out here too, man. Is how is that the eugenics will determine what within a culture what traits get passed. Well, I'm gonna tell you how that works and how culture plays. Because you hear often people talk about the dialectic between culture and genetics. Let me tell you something here. Culture affects genetics. Culture tells people what kind of criteria to select for in a mate, which determines what gets passed on.
Yeah.
Culture is fed to people, right? The word culture, the first four letters are cold. A cold. Cold. You're cold.
Well, guess what?
Right?
You're speaking of coats, right? I'm going to point out I'm going to point out something right now. What Warren's talking about is true, but I want to take just the one word about the occult. Do you realize that you have a cult right on YouTube? Do you realize that's really what's in your face is a complete occult?
Yeah.
Most people don't see that, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. That's what it is.
And there's something else I want to say because Jerry and I last night, we talked about a certain person on YouTube by the name of Monograph. Okay? And I would encourage people to go ahead and go do their looking. But whatever you do, don't go to Montygraph's channel and start questioning him about it. The guy's not going to tell you the truth, but what he will do is he'll go right straight over to his October Reds account and attack you. That is what he will do, though.
Yeah.
There's also something else that Jerry's been saying, and I'm totally with him on it. I think they turned the MK Ultra program has been, of course, they said they closed it years ago. That's a lie. They just renamed it, okay? And I probably renamed it more than once since then and had several different programs or MK Ultra. And they've taken these MK Ultra victims and they've turned them loose on the public.
Yeah.
I don't think many people realize that. Well, I just don't think many people realize it.
There's been theory that they've used MK Ultra as far back as John Lennon with Mark David Chapman. Which in my estimation very well could be true. I don't know. I'd have to really dig into that, but I'm pretty sure the government had a hand in it. I don't necessarily agree with everything that John Lennon stood for. I think he meant well, as far as I know. I don't know. He might have had communist leanings, but I do think the government had interest in having him taken out.
Well, okay, I'll tell you something. This is current news for you. Yesterday, Charles Manson died. Okay, now everybody knows who Charles Manson is, right? So yesterday, Charles Manson died. I want you to go listen to Zachary Hubbard. Zach broke it down for you. And I'll tell you what, you'll get your mind blown when you listen to it. Charles Manson died yesterday, and I'll bet you he was killed. I'll bet you he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
They had to murder him yesterday. Why? The numbers.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pick up where you left off, Warren. Jerry's right with you. He understands.
Yeah, I had a brain fart. I'm not that pot.
I don't know. I don't know that he understands that part, though, Warren.
Yeah. But what was I talking about again?
I was talking about the Jews. And you were talking about...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is the Jews at the top, which, I don't know, man. It's debatable whether they're actually Jews or not, because I know some people say they're from the Ashkenaz, or they're from the Khazars or whatever, and Which, I mean, if they are, I don't know. I mean, I've heard a theory that they're not even genetically Jewish, that they hid behind the Jewish title and behind the Jewish culture and converted to the religion of Judaism during the Crusades, so that they wouldn't get swept up into the Crusades, and that and they kind of hid behind the Jewish name ever since then. And that would make sense because there's that line in the Bible that said, "Beware of those who falsely claim to be Jews or whatnot, or who falsely claim to be Judea or whatever." I mean, so that would make sense.
Sumerian. Yeah, Jerry just said it's Sumerian.
Remember, the Bible is a blueprint. It's a business plan.
Well, that's exactly what the Bible is. Most
there
people
is truth in the Bible and in all these old religions. If people know how to look at it. The problem is most people take it the wrong way. You can't look at like some divine book of some divine commandments that's written down and get the truth out. You want the real truth out of it, man. You got to start looking at it as a business plan that's veiled in allegories. That's written by human beings.
Yeah.
And there is some wisdom and there is some truth in there, right? But they put those little nuggets of wisdom in there. There are nuggets of wisdom in there, but it's like when you look at the building of an empire, right? The early stages of an empire, usually they always give the masses a very ethical, a very moral society in the early stages, right? With a framework set of morality, right? Which is kind of synthetic, it's artificial morality, which is confined to the constraints of their ideology. Like here in America, that was early Christianity, right? But nonetheless, people had a more stable society. They had structure. And the reason why the elites do this isn't because they care about the welfare of the people. It's more done for their own benefit. Because, let me explain this to you from a business point of view, right? Like when America was being first established to be the new empire, it was a major center for world commerce at that time. So it was beneficial to the elites for America to have a stable society at that time. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But the
it
one
wasn't
thing,
for the people, it was for the elites.
Well, yeah. But what they do is they move into a country and they take over and they rob, they pillage, and they kill. And after they've destroyed their culture, they move on over. They move into the next one, do the same thing all over. Then they move into the next one, do the same thing all over. And then when they get run out for destroying and pillaging,
repeat pattern, man.
Yep. Well,
this has happened to hundreds of empires before, so we're damn sure not going to be. Well, if we probably won't be the last. If we are the last, God help us, bro, because that means we're already there. We're fucked.
Well, it's like this. They go in and they destroy and pillage the country they come into. Then when they get run out because they've destroyed everything and pillaged and robbed and killed and blundered, right? Then they're going to turn around. They're going to play. They're going to play the victim. That's right. Then they're going to play the victim role. And don't you see
something
that?
to bear in mind too, man, is this, right? People are gradually, reluctantly, albeit, but gradually coming to realize that they can't trust the government anymore. And slowly people are starting to open their eyes a little bit as much as they have to, right? Now, this follows plan, and as I've been saying, is they'll actually use the truth movement for this goal, right? Because in order to set up the new structure, which is going to be far more oppressive than the system we've already been under for the past couple hundred years, whatnot. Okay, before they can set it up, they have to tear down the old structure. Now, the whole truth movement is funded by the CIA. It's counterintelligence with all their gurus and everything else, right? So you know what they're going to do. They're going to use the truth movement, or possibly all this social justice warrior shit too. I mean, who knows? Or somewhere they might even converge. Who the fuck knows how it's going to go? But they're going to use this to tear down the current order of things. And people on the left and right are going to be more increasingly disenfranchised with the government. And what they're going to do, they're going to use that to bring in the new system. Because what you're going to have with this civil war is you're going to have two versions of socialism clashing head on head, and they're going to tear each other to pieces. And out of that, the left is going to come out the winner. And I think what's going to happen is, I mean, it's
Well, one thing's for sure, they're planning an exodus. You know what an exodus is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're planning it. And I think it's going to be a lot sooner than what people think. That's what these new cities that are vacant are about. And people ain't thinking about that, but that's a reality. That's what it's about.
It's very likely these cities are being set up for the Western elite that are evacuating the West, and because they're setting up their new shop in China, man. Right, so they're going to have these special cities that are they're specifically designed for Western taste and Western. You know, I mean, Alan Watt talked about this back in the day when I used to listen to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get so many people, they know about these cities, but they're like, well, what are they for? How come they're vacant? How come they'd build a whole city and they'd be vacant? They're not going to be vacant for long. It's because they're planning their exodus, and that's where they're going. You know, they'll take people out
Yeah.
there. They'll protect the people in this country, like up on Wall Street, and the people that are actually in on this. Well, they will be protected, and they'll be taken out of this country right under your nose. You won't even know they're out of this country.
Well, also you got to bear in mind that a lot of these elites too, man, they have underground bunkers that are equipped. I mean, they could. I mean, you know, it wouldn't matter if they nuke the surface of the world. Out of it, if all these elites went to their little underground bases, you know, they'd be protected. They'd be okay. They got everything they need to survive down there, man.
Yeah, I think what should I think what should happen is
it's like a fucking bomb shelter down there, like a network of caves that are. I mean, they're like bomb shelter. I mean, like where they got all the supplies they need. They got access to food, to water, to medical supplies. They got everything that they need down there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Survive for hundreds of years.
I'd like to make
You know?
I'd like to make a gigantic earthquake on their shoulders and have them underground shelters collapse on them. It could become their new grave.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly. Let it become their new grave.
It does, man. It makes you think about how much that we really don't know, man. Because there's an entire world, literally, there's an entire world beneath our feet, man. Entire system of underground tunnels, honeycomb, right under our feet, man. Like that we don't even know, people don't even know about, man. It goes all over the world, man. From in every country, everywhere. You look around, you start doing the research on it, you'll find out there's systems of caves down there, man. That's why at one point in time I was trying to put together a cave expedition, man, and come through. But I might just get me and my boy and do a two-man adventure on it if I can. I want to get down into these caves and start exploring, man, because you get to a point where there's only so much further you can go as far as the official knowledge that has been put out there for you to find, right? And then the truth becomes, well, what are you not allowed to find, right? and you know, ultimately my journey has led me to wanting to investigate the caves, because there's something down there to find in these caves, man. I can't even say exactly what it is, but there's something big being hidden, and you know, there's an entire world beneath our feet there, man. You know.
Yeah, that could be a dangerous adventure too.
Yeah, it's almost like landing on an alien planet, bro. I mean, except for it's not on an alien planet. It's just another world within our world.
I don't know, Lauren. I just don't
know?
know. I mean, we might be on an alien planet because there's times I look around me and all the dum-dums out here and the stuff they fall for and how they just don't get it when it's in their face. And I have to say, Warren, I've told Jerry this many times. I don't know how I crashed here. I need to find my ship and I need to leave because I know it's an accident. I had to have crashed in the wrong place.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this too, man, I don't people understand. I'm not advocating the idea that it's a hollow Earth. I don't believe there's a hollow Earth, but I do believe the crust is hollowed out. You know. Because I mean, you hear a lot of people in the hollow Earth, they believe the whole Earth is hollow, and I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I do believe that the crust is hollow. You know, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of theories about whether or not we were put here by something superhuman, whether that's extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, troglodytes from inside the earth, whatever. At the end of the day, that's all speculation, man. There's nothing we can really concretely prove that on. Now, I can see where it could be enough of a wealth of circumstantial information to sit there and say, okay, well, look, this might be possible. This is a possibility. But at the same time, you also got to be wary, though, man. And don't take anything as fact unless you can concretely prove it, man, because I know the Ronald Reagan administration has been talking, as early as the Ronald Reagan administration, they've been talking about using a fake alien scare to unite everybody into this globalist, we are one, new world, one hive mind globalist agenda, and of course Bill Cooper, was talking about his alien stuff too, and he backtracked on once he found out that he's being fed a lot of disinfo, and that was like right before he got popped, so I mean.
I was,
I mean,
the alien scare, I got a feeling that there's probably some truth to it, because I'm going to tell you this, I just don't believe that we would be the only life form in the entire galaxy. Okay, but at the same token,
I don't believe that we're the only intelligent life form in the entire galaxy. I'm just skeptical as to whether we've made contact with life. I mean, that's what I'm skeptical of, because think about it, they want to unite the whole world as a globalist government, right? What better scare tactic than to tell them there's a threat from outside the world? And Ronald Reagan administration talked exactly about doing that. I mean, that was why the whole the world scenario was put out there, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
to get people used to that.
Well, I do believe, though, from what I've looked into, that the Roswell event years ago was probably quite real. I think that there was a crash, and I do think the Roswell event was real. And I think they may have gotten some of the technology from that actual crash. But as far as the rest of the stuff,
possible, but I also want to point out this out. The scientific dictatorship is coming in, right? Well, what's it going to take? Because they want to push this New Age religion, which you can have all this New Agey mumbo jumbo, and here's what I'm thinking. What's it going to take to get the hardcore materialist atheists on the same page with the New Agers and the scientific dictatorship? Well, think about this here for a moment, right? Most of the hardcore atheist crowd believe pretty much in the mainstream media, right? They're not going to believe in some alien astronaut theory right now because the mainstream media poo-poos on it, laughs about it. But if the mainstream media came out there and had fixed evidence to sit here and say, hear me out, had fixed evidence to sit here, quote unquote, prove that we were put here by aliens, and they would believe it without a doubt. Right? So that was, and by doing so, see, this scientific dictatorship is coming in. There's all these New Age elements. I think a lot of it's going to be like, what's going to be is a synthesis of the New Age and the atheist idea, because it's like Marxism version 2.0, where, where basically, they will use technology like brain chips and things like that to artificially create things like psi. Or life extensions and things like that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I say it's going. They're going to create their quote-unquote heaven on earth, which is going to be an Orwellian dystopia.
It is. But, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. You had the fake, phony, baloney Rothschild crash where they claim a Rothschild died. No. You had a phony baloney crash, okay? No Rothschild died, but it does spell that maybe something's coming soon.
As far as the life extensions, all-day anabolics, what about life extension stuff? Will the elites be doing that in our lifetime or what? I don't know whether it's going to be in our lifetime or not. I know that they're working towards it, but I can tell you this. When it's introduced, is not going to be available to the common people. It's only going to be available to the upper wealthy elite.
Well, yeah, you ain't part of that club.
They won't make it available to the common people until they get everybody brain chipped. And the reason for that being, I can tell you why that is. And I've discussed this on the radio show before. You got to think about this from their perspective, right? Imagine your goal is to enslave the world, right? Are you going to want to give permanent, indefinite youth and life to somebody who you don't have total control over? Because even the biggest idiot, man, even the biggest blue pill sheep, after being here a couple thousand years, will eventually start to put things together, right? So, but once they get everybody brain chipped, they can censor what information goes into your brain and what goes out of your brain, right? They can censor the information that you're receiving and that you're putting out. They can censor that.
Well, they can
right?
probably more than
they can
censor
send
it.
thoughts into your brain against your will. They can edit thoughts out of your brain against your will.
That's it. I was
they
gonna
have total
say
control over you. You're a prisoner in your own body at that point.
Yeah, because they'll put
Now that's
something.
when they're going to give people life extensions, and
They'll put stuff in your head that you didn't even plan. You'll find yourself doing something and you won't even know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're talking about evil.
And people will believe this for the public good is to keep us safe. That's going to be their excuse.
Yeah, that's right, Warren.
I guarantee you.
It's going to keep you safe, Warren.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're not part of the club, okay? George Carlin spelled it out right. We are not part of the club. The only part of the club we get to be is the end of the club is going across your head.
Mm-hmm. But make no bones about it, though, man. Right now, they got scientists working overtime on that. As a matter of fact, I've been reading reports on, they're looking at what animal was it? They got anti-aging compounds from. Was it? It was some kind of aquatic animal. I can't even think of it. I have to go back and read my reports again, but yeah.
I don't know. And, right now, the way I look at the animal kingdom, I look at the animals, even the average cat and dog are smarter than most human beings. Because they don't conspire to build bombs to kill one another. They don't sit and feed propaganda to the masses of other animals to lead them down the rabbit hole.
Lobsters. The focus of the scientists are lobsters. That's why, because there's anti-aging compounds in lobsters, man. Lobsters don't really age, man. I mean, I guess they eventually die, but they don't really age. And so scientists are studying lobsters now to figure out how to produce that in humans.
Yeah, I know they're playing Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's really what they're doing. They're playing Frankenstein right in everybody's face.
Yeah.
It's a shark, sir.
Well, he said sharks, but I heard lobsters, man, but I don't know. I mean,
it could be a shark. I don't know enough to answer one way or the other, so, I'm not on this particular topic, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, knowledge is infinite.
Yeah, I mean.
Why do you think Zach has such problems? Because the knowledge Zach has, he's not supposed to have. That's hidden knowledge. That's knowledge they've kept away from the people. You're not supposed to have it. Because they use it regularly, you know. They really do. They use the number system, and the knowledge Zach has, he's not supposed to have.
I have a theory on this, man, right? Is this is just theoretical here, is that we're born into this world where we got all these symbols and letters and all this stuff. I'm theorizing a lot of this stuff is designed to systematically shut off certain parts of our brain, because if we have no recollection of being able to use those parts of our brain because it's been shut out from the time of our earliest upbringing, then nobody would even know about it, right?
That's correct.
So I'm thinking maybe it has something. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't want to get all too new age or nothing, like the pineal gland, all that stuff. But it makes you wonder to some degree.
Well, that's it. The thing is you got to understand the world is nothing but a big school, and you'll never be able to learn everything in your whole life anyhow. But not only just power.
The people to study would be tribal natives and like tribal cultures that were never domesticated or quote civilized. I mean, like the most undomesticated people, like they're probably speaking like clicking languages or whistling languages, or run around in grass skirts and hunting gazelle. I mean, with spears and shit. Those are probably the guys you'd want to look at psychologically to really understand, I guess. The effects of how a lot of this stuff might have shut off a lot of our parts of their brain, because you got to think these people haven't lived in our system. They lived in a more natural world, so they weren't subject to those things as much, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all theoretical.
Well, Warren, I'm going to bring the caller in, and I'm going to bring John in. And welcome to the show, John,
Yeah.
and welcome to the show, 414.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Not doing too
Hey, how you
bad.
doing, man?
Not much. It's been some time. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get on the show the past couple of weeks, so good to be back.
Well, I'm happy to hear from you again, John. And what's our 414 caller?
Yeah, I had to take with the call into the show. Every time I had a call, it automatically beams up on me.
Yeah, that
I can't
sounds
hear him
right.
that good.
He's echoing. He's like he's in the
him
distance.
at all. I can't hear him that well.
No, you got a big echo, so you must be like in a big room. Yeah, because I hear the echoing. He says he ain't been able to get onto the show. I did hear him say.
Is he on speaker?
Yeah, I work in a school, so the reception isn't good.
Oh, there he goes. I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said I work in a school, so the reception isn't good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in a school. He's in a commercial building, and that takes a tendency of messing with your phone.
Yeah, and I work for another store, so I'm probably going to get tossed out.
So I guess you can bring John up to date what we were talking about. I don't know how long John's been listening, so.
I've been listening quite a while, actually. As far as Jerry being the king of the Jews and all that, so I've been on for a while. You were actually talking. In fact, you were talking about. I think you had a friend in Germany who had the green light when you were talking about that and how they could track you.
Oh yeah, you've been here a while then, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been here since then. Maybe even earlier than that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's all true. I was also thinking about this. If they're going to pull an exorcist in this country, which I see them doing, the things that you might want to pay attention to are the things that are not advertised and are pushing out there to the public. Like right now, they got gates at the tunnels in New York. They're saying they're floodgates, but I don't think it's floodgates. I agree with Jerry. I think it's to keep people out. Yeah, that sounds like a scary thing, but you think about it. Okay, the Rothschild helicopter supposedly, right? The phony baloney crash that supposedly killed a Rothschild. Well, what does Rothschild equal?
I remember hearing that, yeah.
Yes, Rothschild equals money. Monetary system, right? Now, think about this.
Right.
We're still in the last quarter of this year. Something big could still happen.
I don't think they're going to build that wall, though, man. I really don't, to be honest.
When did you think? Wait, when did this crash happen? By the way.
Oh, I'd have to go look again. It's not that old. But New York, they put what they're wanting to call floodgates in the tunnels going into New York, and I don't think it's for flooding. I think I agree with Jerry. I think it's to keep people out. If they was to crash our monetary system, people's going to be pissed and they're going to go straight to Wall Street. Okay, after them, right? So they close the gates.
Right.
People can't get in, and they fly them out to the new cities that they build in China.
I mean, I suppose, but then again, you also have millions of people alone in Manhattan alone. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of people. They're gonna have a lot of people to deal with in already in New York. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
How does it transport all those people at the same time? I mean, in what?
Well, I can tell you this, man. Once things go to hell in America, one of the first places it's going to hit is going to be New York. You know, so anybody who's not in New York, you can use New York as a warning bell. Once New York goes off, it's going to spread everywhere else in America.
Yep. Carry on that one.
Maybe I should go out to the country.
You know. And if you're in New York, I'd recommend moving somewhere else. If you can't, man, at least make sure that you got, you know, that you're well protected. And you got your guns.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about New York too. Because if you live in New York, you're not allowed to really own any guns. It's very hard to own one.
Yeah, you'll figure, right?
Unless you're affiliated with law enforcement or the military.
And you know what's funny about that, man? It is more proof that gun control doesn't work when you look at the crime rates and shit, man. I mean, like, why is it that all the people in all places, well, you know, with gun control have the highest violent crime rates?
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think they're after the guns anyhow because the technology is already way too advanced.
Yeah. Well, what they've done, man, I mean, I think maybe to a certain extent they're going to try to take guns out of America to a point. Like, what you're going to have with the Civil War is going to be the red states and the blue states. And the blue states are probably going to have gun confiscations, but they know that they're not going to get the guns out of the hands of all the people. So what they've done is they're playing both sides of the Civil War that they're cooking up. And they got all these controlled opposition camps that are going to spring up, right, who are bought off at the head. You know, so they're still, so that way they at least still have control over the situation, you know. And a lot of the, a lot of people who are carrying guns, you know, who like thugs and shit like that amongst the liberals or amongst the blue states are probably going to be armed and taken under the wing of the government, you know, as death squads or some shit like that, you know. That the entire reason why the CIA set up the Crips and the Bloods actually was to have an inner city plainclothes militia that could blend in and spy on the people and answer back to the president. Now, mind you, right now, these Crips and these Bloods are low-level street guns that probably don't even know how to hold a gun right. But we've seen the process for a while of how, you know, a lot of these people in gangs, they'll go to the military and they'll learn all these tactics and they'll take it back to their gangs. I'm talking about the mafias, I'm talking about biker gangs, I'm talking about cartels. To some degree, even, I mean, to a lesser extent, even the street gangs. You know, so.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You know, we've got so much corruption going on at one time that it makes it hard to pick out exactly what they're going to do. But I do know this. We're still in the last quarter of the year, and something big could still happen. I'm not going to say something is, but something big could still happen.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it Bill Cooper years ago that told people not to be home on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that so much applies in today's society because the one thing I've said for a long time now, every 4 years at election time, they push certain propaganda and then it disappears. And then as soon as you got election time again, they push the same propaganda. That's the crash of the dollar, the FEMA camps, the roundup, World War III, all these things is pushed every 4 years regularly.
Mhm. And there's a reason for it, because at the end of the 4 years, people are starting to get disgruntled with the system, and people are starting to, to distrust the system, so they're playing on that.
Yeah.
And it's a way of playing on that, and then usher them back into the fold. Bad cop, good cop. We went from bad cop, good cop, from Bush being the bad cop, the Republicans, to Obama being the good cop, the Democrats. And then we went from Obama being the bad cop, the Democrats, to Trump being the good cop, the Republicans.
Yep. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Zachary's with us right now, and I want to tell, I was going to tell Zachary, Jerry's on, but he's only on the chat. He's actually not in the show. I have John and I have Warren here with me, Zach. But a great job with that video you did on Mr. Charles Manson. That was an awesome job.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy about that, Bill? I can't say for 1% certain on this, but my gut tells me that a lot of these people that seem to uphold Charles Manson in such high regard and want to defend him and talk about how, as some sort of counterculture figure or whatnot, and all these women that have wanted to marry Charles Manson in prison or whatever. Something tells me chances are a lot of these people are probably like your really loud social justice warrior types. And the funny thing about that is, and again, I'm not condoning the shootings of because all of them were staged anyways. But I'm not condoning like Elliot Rodgers and nothing like that. But my point I'm making about it is these are the same people that will condemn a lot of TFLers or whatnot that appraise Elliot Rodgers. And I'm not saying it's right for them to do that either, but they'll attack them for doing that, and then they come out here and they don't praise Charles Manson. I could be,
Well, I think Charles Manson, I would agree with Jerry on this. I think Charles Manson was MK Ultra. Okay, to begin with. And what Zachary did today in a video about Charles Manson, it was outstanding. I can only say that. You'd have to go listen to it yourself. Zachary has information I don't think that he's supposed to have. At least that the globalists don't want him to have anyhow. And I'm proud of the man for having that information. So he comes under a lot of heat. He gets a lot of heat by shields and by upper officials because the information that Zach's putting out is, outstanding. And if you could understand the number system the way Zach does, you can see a lot of stuff ahead of time. It tells you so much. All their planning's off the number system.
The date 9/11, man. The date 9/11 has a lot of occult significance, man. When George Bush Sr. gave his initial New World Order speech, it was on the date of 9/11. I think it was like 91 or something like that?
Yeah.
But it was 9/11. Go figure. And then there's the famous 9/11 2001.
Well, that's it. Well, there is a new website that I think people should know about, and I do believe it's 153.net. Okay? That is a website that was created by a YouTuber, a truther, for people that are truthers.
Yeah.
Where there won't be no censorship. There won't be no shutting up the truth and hiding the truth and attacking people that are honest. But if you want to know anything about the number system, Warren, look at your chat. The man's in here right now.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna go take a look at his channel, man. I meant to do a lot, but I keep getting so caught up with so many things. But I'm gonna definitely take a look at it. If nothing else, before I go to bed tonight, man, or because I do want to get into like checking out his channel, man. I just been had so much going on lately.
Yep. Well, it's something you need to take a little bit of time out of your busy schedule and do. I'm going to be buying the man's book as soon as it comes out and as soon as I know how.
Yeah, I've been known that they've used like a lot of like ground numerology and things like that, and symbology, and it means in our language and everything else. I mean, at some level, all that stuff connects, man. I'm thinking that's what you call Kabbalism. You know, once you can connect the numeric codes and the linguistic codes and everything else into one big reality, I mean, there's got to be an art behind that, a higher science behind that the elites are practicing. Which I think again, I'm thinking maybe that's the hidden art of Kabbalism. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Well, he answered you right there, Warren.
yeah. That's some really confusing shit to get into, though, man. It really is. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm terrible. I mean, I can see patterns, but as far as doing like any kind of advanced math, like algebra or anything like that, man, like I suck with numbers, man. And I can recognize patterns, like I can recognize the patterns in 9 and things like that. You know, I mean, I know my basic addition and subtraction and multiplication and all that other shit. I mean,
11 in Hebrew.
yeah. And there's a Kabbalah. Well, I mean, the Hebrew Kabbalah is probably the main one, but I know there's other Kabbalahs too. There's a Greek Kabbalah. There's an African Kabbalah. There's what other ones have I heard about? I think there might be an Egyptian or Persian Kabbalah or something like that, or
That's a simple one. ABC
or a Hindu.
News.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I mean, that's so simple. It's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, on March 11th, 2011, in Fukushima, Japan, it was an extinction level event. That's why we were mass die-offs in the Pacific. Also, you know, another thing that's dying off in the Pacific was because they got pretty much the same things like MGTOW is here, but it's taken on massive proportions in Japan, where men have gotten tired of the war on men and they've walked away. And so now it's gotten to a point where the government is trying to give people incentive, trying to give men incentive to want to be with women now, and men have just walked away, man. So nobody's having any babies anymore because nobody's having sex anymore. So, you know, their future's in jeopardy now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, that being said, you know, when you take away a man's incentive to want to preserve society, he's not going to preserve society. You know, that's what all this war on men has done. Men uphold society. Men aren't going to preserve society when there's, you know, when society's letting them down. So.
Well, but that's deliberate. That's what you got to understand. The division amongst the genders was deliberate. It's not no accident.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. But at this point, I mean, the best thing we can do is let it, because, like, look, this shit's too far gone to be fixed. The only way you can fix it is to let it destroy itself and pick up back up out of the ashes. But yet, when we do that, the government's already planned that. They want that to happen. They want to try to play that too.
Well, Zach came up with a great idea, Warren.
Here's a nutshell, man. We have a common goal with the elite on one point, man. Let this society fall. Where we have to break off from them is when we pick it back up out of the ashes. At this point, this system's too far gone to be rescued, man. The only thing we can do is let it fall to pieces.
Well, if you wanted to wake people up, Zach had one of the best ideas I've heard of in a long time from anybody. The night he came on this show, he said something that stands out. I don't know how we'll get it done, but it needs to be done. It needs to happen. We need people to overthrow the media and take control of the airways. Everybody wants to listen to their television set. If you could take over the airways, you could put the truth in the people's face, and you would wake a lot of people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is Zach that came up with that idea. And when I heard him say it, I was very impressed because that was a great idea.
He said, you weaken the men, you conquer society. Is that the reason you think German men just, like their little country, go to pieces? And this is sentiment insanity. And I want to add on that, you know, I think most of the situation in Germany is because of all this white guilt shit. There might there might be some people, especially amongst the incels and shit, who are pretty much at that point who like, let's just let it go to shit. I mean, but there's a lot of people over there are just a bunch of stupid, white guilt motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, I hope Zach's right, because I'll tell you what, I'd be right there. I'd be right there as part of that army. I wouldn't care. I don't care about my health or anything. They can't threaten me with death because I don't care. But what Zachary's talking about, yes, needs to happen. Because the masses listen to their television set. They really do. And if you can take over the airways, the masses are going to be hearing it. You'll get the truth. How to take it over and how to keep control of it, that's going to be another story. But you never know. Maybe Zach's got some ideas. It only takes one great person with good ideas to come forward with good ideas that could change a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Unless it was an emergency, I still haven't yet used. But wait till Jerry says, my Jewish grandma said I can't use black magic unless it was an emergency. I still haven't used yet, but I'm thinking I might. That's on you, man. I can't say. I mean, I'll tell you this: the majority of the so-called black magic that's available to the masses you buy on bookstore shelves is fake, man. It's laughable. They use. But the stuff the elites practice isn't the stuff that they put. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily that people can't get a hold of real stuff, but like I've never really played with magic. I mean, I've dabbled with the idea a little bit, but I know enough to tell you this though, man. If you want to get a hold of the real stuff, you're gonna want to get a hold of the really old stuff by like Aleister Crowley and by McGregor Mathers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm with I am with Zach on that.
I mean, like I said, that's kind of a gamble, man. I
mean. Hey, John, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, do you got a computer or a laptop?
I do have an outdated computer, but.
Okay, I was curious because
I'm not on at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting you to jump on it sometime when you call into the show. You could monitor the chat over here because we're live up on YouTube at the same time. So that when you're hearing us talk about Zach, that's where he's at.
Yeah.
So if you was to go to my my backup channel that I had to open because I'm butt kicked out of my other one again. Okay, then you can actually see what's going on in the chat. Because Zach came up with some really good stuff. He's a very smart man. And that's why I tried to get, Warren to go over to his channel and check him out. Because this man has...
Yeah, I'm going to, man.
He has hidden knowledge that we're not supposed to have. And he has it. And I know they're mad at him for having it, but I'm freaking proud of him.
Well, that's good and all, but you just got to be careful. If you got information they don't want you to know, you better really look over your shoulder most of the time.
Well, yeah, I know. But the thing is if enough people can learn it, he's putting a book out. If enough people can learn it, we could really put a hurting on these idiots.
Yeah, and he can't go after everyone.
Yeah, and taking over the airways was one of the best ideas I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Jerry just put there, 153.net. That's the spot for the truthers to go to, where you can actually speak the truth.
You said 153.net?
Yes.
All right.
Jerry and I've got ourselves a channel over there. It's a spot for the real truthers to go, where you're not going to get censored.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend of mine, the other day. I mean, it's been to the point now where like, people are having to put their videos on private, like, you know, because of censorship, because they got striked in their videos. And
You can get striked if it's on private, Warren. You can't have it on private and not get
yeah,
a
no.
strike. YouTube is shutting down truthers, is what they're doing. If you're up here telling the truth, you're going to be
What's going to happen
suppressed.
to people? Eventually, more people are going to go. I mean, not even just truthers, but anybody who's speaking out against this liberal agenda, man, at this point, is getting censored. What's going to happen, man, is people are going to leave YouTube and they're going to go somewhere else. There's already other video streaming services out there with far less censorship, but just not as well known.
Well, you know,
Isn't there one called Vimeo or something?
Yeah, Vimeo costs a lot of money. Okay, to get onto Vimeo, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. And then on top of that, the censorship is still there. I've got, you know, I'm on several different video sharing sites, and I'll tell you what, at one time they said Daily Motion was the place to go. Well, Daily Motion's no better than YouTube. If you want censored, just go.
Yeah, it's going to be the same old song and dance.
You got it. You're going to go from video sharing site to video sharing site. You're not going to get censored. You're going to get cut down if you speak the truth. And that's the reason I'm telling you what Jerry's telling you. 153new.net is the place to go.
Yeah. That would make sense.
You know, you get enough truthers over there speaking out the truth, and we can get that platform to grow. That's going to be awesome. How long it'll be up, I don't know, but you know, Zach's got a great idea. If we could get the airways
but
into
I'll
our
tell you
hands.
this, though, man. Keep an eye out, because I can tell you this, man. You know, they might not, even they're not censoring. I can guarantee you, they're sending agents out there to try to infiltrate it, man. They try to infiltrate the forum.
Oh yeah, you guaranteed.
You're not going to know who they are right away. Some of them you might be able to pick up right away. Some of them are going to be very smooth, and you won't know it. I mean, you might not know it ever. You know.
Well, you know it.
I mean,
when suddenly the site's gone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know it when they take the site down.
Well, they won't necessarily take the site down, but they'll send people into like forums and comment sections to stir shit up or to create dissension or to put ideas out there for the establishment or to misdirect things, whatever. I mean, they do this. They have agents that go in and infiltrate forums and infiltrate videos and comment sections and everything else. I mean, you know, so. Yeah, there's no doubt that they're probably going to do that over there too. I mean, there's going to be some guys hiding in the woodworks. They're going to be there to do that.
Yep.
And you're not always going to know who all of them are. I mean, eventually some of them might show themselves. Some of them might show themselves pretty quickly if you know how to spot them.
Yep. Well, I hope that Zach will go to that Zachary will wind up on 153.net himself. Because he's not going to be censored there, and it'll give him a chance to get his info out there. And I would tell anybody that, follow what Zach's teaching you and listen to him, because he's going to teach you some valuable information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know we had a slow up, it seems, right here.
Once.
Oh, no, I know we're all talking at once here. Well, so many people can't see what's going on, for one. And then you have so much division. I mean, that's where TFL came from, was out of the fact that the men and women are so divided up. And that's where people need to understand that the division was deliberate. And you've got to be able to put a stop to division sooner or later, because divide and conquer works wonders.
Yeah, a lot of TFL. I mean, actually came from the fact. And I'm not saying that men are partially responsible for this too, but a lot of that came from gynocentrism, and the fact that things are being heavily engineered to one side of the gender divide. Which again, you can't put that all on women. You put that half out on men, because men enable it. Men allow it to happen.
Yeah, well, the masses out there are so asleep to what's going on, and they just go along with the next programming and the next programming and the next programming, and that's exactly what happens. Is people's going along with the program over and over and over. And if you could take over the airwaves, you could change the programming, and you could wake people up.
Yeah.
You got to remember, where do these people get their power from? Us, the people. Where do they get their military? From us, the people. And that's the key
Yeah.
thing right there. If you can remember that, then you understand that only us, the people, can take that power away from them. But we can't do it
Probably
if we're all
got too
fighting.
many cowards, man. They're scared to speak. They're scared to speak up against authority.
Well, what's authority? Another person that puts their pants on the same way you do, that bleeds and sleeps and, excuse my language, you know, they're humans just like we are. You get scared because, oh, they're a government official. Oh, they're wearing a uniform. Oh, but they might
Even
take
that
my
word uniform.
freedom.
You think about that uniform. Uni means one form. That's the word uniform, right? It's a way of uniforms tell us to trust the authorities. Trust the authorities. You know what I'm saying?
I
They're
understand what you're
professionals. They
saying.
know what they're doing, and they don't always know. I mean, at some relative level, maybe like you look at a doctor, okay, like at some relative level, they might be more educated on certain things, but are also more indoctrinated. So, I mean, can you always trust the experts? I mean, no, you can't. I can give you examples of that. I mean, myself. I mean,
Well, but no, but they're people are great order followers, and they're scared, and they follow the orders, and they go along with. You've got to change the mindset of people. And one of the best ways to change the mindset of people is to use the very tool that they've used to get people where they want them, which is the airways.
yeah, but they've got to want to wake up first, man. I mean,
Well,
I mean, people haven't done that in 4,000 years. I
well
mean,
let's
there'll be
look
a
at
few that
something else.
will. I mean, there's people like us out here, but I mean,
But let's look at
we're
something
not the
else.
majority, though. I mean,
But
I
let's look
mean,
at something else, Warren. I talked about this earlier. People's mindset of fitting in, going along, fitting in, right? Well, if you can
mm-hmm.
change the mindset in enough people, then they're going to want to fit in. And once they start to want to fit in, they'll start waking up. And the best way to get that done would be through what Zach's talking about. And that really is the
Yeah,
truth. That would be the best way to get that done.
yeah, I could see that.
So that's really where that
Because I mean,
comes
really,
from.
I mean, you think about it, man, it's already starting. We're already at the point now where, and I'm not saying, of course, the alternative media is just as controlled as the mainstream media in the long run, but people are already getting to a point now where, people are turning to the alternative media more because the mainstream media is so full of shit, and that's a start to people looking online and finding out like real information like that. Because yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bullshit information online in alternative media. But if you look around good enough, you actually find real information too.
But unfortunately, the alternative media has been infiltrated, taken over, and it's getting worse every day.
Yeah, the institution of it, but there are individuals. I mean, when you consider the alternative media, in a sense, we're alternative media because we're online. We're right. In a sense,
Well,
but we're not
yeah.
controlled. We're just, we're not part of the establishment of the alternative media.
We're the
We're
ones
doing
that
our own thing. You
we're
know
the
what I'm
ones
saying?
that
So,
well, Warren. The example would be tonight. I started off the show telling people exactly what they did with my scheduled live feed for tonight. They made sure that it went out to everybody, that a starting time was 2 hours sooner than it was, so that when people would show up 2 hours too soon, give up and go away and not be here.
Yeah.
That is what Google did tonight to my live feed when I scheduled it. So I'm going to have to do what Jerry said. I'm going to have to wait till the last hour to schedule it, and it still don't guarantee it ain't going to happen. Because it's only going to take them a minute to change the time on it.
Yeah.
It's called censorship, suppressing the truthers down.
We've been getting a lot. I mean, we're here the past couple of weeks, actually. I mean, you know, at least on the shows I've been on, I mean, well, you know, we've actually been pretty good as far as not having as much censorship. I mean, compared to what we did, because I remember a few weeks before that, we were getting hit heavy with censorship, man.
Well, you know, the thing, I know what happened to that, Warren. Blog Talk Radio was censoring us on our show when we were only doing just the Blog Talk Radio. But when I started doing live streaming on YouTube at the same time as live on Blog Talk understood and knew that the people on YouTube would hear what they were doing, so Blog Talk knocked it off.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I sort of forced their hand, and when I started doing the live streams, that's when Blog Talk stopped their censorship. But that one caller tonight also said he's had a hard time getting into the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, the government runs YouTube just like they run Blog Talk and everything else. I mean, of course, they're going to find a way to sit here and fuck with the show still.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so all the alternative media, man, like I said, I mean, you realize you're seeing now how it's every bit as controlled as the mainstream media. But the thing is, I mean, what I'm talking about as far as the establishment, I mean, itself. The thing is, on the alternative media, you don't have to be part of the establishment of the alternative media to be out there. So that's why I say, in a sense, it's good that more people are turning to the alternative media because, you know, if they can get far enough to understand that the establishment of the alternative media is no different than it is with the mainstream media, and that they have to look for, the non-established media, if that makes any sense. I mean, that's technically what we are. I mean, right?
Yeah, technically. Technically, anybody that's...
There's your non-established media, then there's your alternative media, then there's your mainstream media.
Well, the non-established media is going to be most of your truthers. Okay, and you're going to get
exactly.
You're going to get truth, and then you're going to find truth there. You know, and Jerry said findspring.com. Well, that's because what Jerry's talking about is finding natural spring water. I'm sure it's safer than the water you're getting at home full of fluoride. Because Joe was talking about the fluoride in the water. Well, he's correct. They've lied to the public for years and put an aluminum waste compound called fluoride into your water. It's the same thing they did in Nazi Germany, but you need to understand you're living in Nazi America.
I'd say it's more like the USSA. You get what I'm saying, man? Like it's like we're a communist country, all this communist fucking ideology and being forced down our throats everywhere. I mean, yeah, I think we live a little more like USSR than we do the Nazis. I mean,
well, you have a combination. They've mixed it up.
Well,
you have a combo.
The American government has been infiltrated by both the communists and the Nazis.
Well, that's thanks to...
It was infiltrated by the Nazis with Operation Paperclip, and of course, it was infiltrated by the communists. You can see the results of that now. I mean, look who's running the media and the education system and everything else. I mean, we're being taught, critical theory and all this shit. I mean, so.
Well, it goes back to the plan. They knew at the end of World War II that it wasn't an accident that Operation Paperclip happened. Hitler was hidden, and he was kept alive and hidden and had a successful life and lived in blah blah blah, and nobody understood that. Hitler didn't die at the end of World War II. He lived on.
Yeah.
That's correct, what Zach said. The same Zionist Jews have always run the U.S. All of this stuff was planned way, way, way in advance. I mean, you go back to the beginning of time practically with this. That we can go back to. That's how long it's gone on.
Mhm.
And you know, people say, well, because it's gone on for so long, it can't be changed. Yes, it can. But you've got to get people on board with it first. And the first thing you have to do is change people's mindsets. And that's where taking over the airways is a gigantic help. Because you go back to the beginning of time, as far back as this goes, they didn't have the television sets then. So, yes, we can change it. But we have to fight to change it. And we have to want to change it. And to do that, you can't give up. You have to realize, keep fighting regardless of what.
And you actually have a chance to beat them with their own stick, like you said. You know, back then they didn't used to have all this social media and stuff to get their message across. We can use their weapons against them.
Well, if we could take over the airways like Zach's talking about, we sure could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That could make a gigantic difference. Getting it done, so that's going to be the hardest part. Is going to be getting it done. But if we can get enough people on board with it, willing to leave their home, leave their computer, and go do it, that's all it's going to take. Because no, they get their, like I told you, they get their power from us, the people. And you always got to remember that. They get everything from us, the people. We got to stop complying. Stop going along with. That's the reason I brought up create a new monetary system. Who says you can't? Create a new money. Call it the people's money. Walk away from theirs. Just totally walk away from theirs. Yeah, they're going to try to stop you. Of course they're going to try to stop you. You know, yes, boots on the ground. That's great. And, you know, Conspiracy Granny and Cy Thorne, they're great examples of boots on the ground. That guy that left his motel room during the fake phony baloney shooting in Vegas and got kicked out of his motel and found himself on the backside of Hooters that wound up in front of Hooters filming, that was a great example of boots on the ground. And that's exactly what it is. Boots on the ground. Get yourself involved. By the numbers. Because you're not going to win anything sitting at home on your computer. You're not going to change this sitting at home. We're going to change this by wanting to change it. And I think there's enough people that want it changed. I really do. But we've got to be able to reach them. And the biggest or best way I can ever think of reaching them is through what Zach said. That's why I said that was one of the most outstanding ideas I've heard of yet.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. And I never give up. I've been attacked over and over and over and over and over. I've lost channels, been thrown off, and had to make another channel. My main channel is about to go bye-bye again. But when they throw me off of YouTube this next time, I'm not coming back to YouTube. I'm going to stay right over there where I'm at until they take it down. Then it's going to be time to hit the streets. Because that's what that's what you have to do. We have to stand together. And we're not going to do that unless we can get the mindset of people changed. It's called cutting through the division.
Yeah.
That's right. What Jerry said, I agree with that. That's right. Until time mud with Zach, but that's right. Join Zach. Zach's got some great ideas. Pull people together. And Zach has a really good following too. And if we can lead these people the right direction and get our hands on the airways, we could change a lot.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to understand that, yes, there's going to be death. How are you going to change anything if you're not willing to put your ass on the line? If you stay scared, they win. You can't stay scared. You've got to start growing some gonads, you know? And not being scared. You know what they fear? When you're not afraid to die, they don't want that.
Yeah.
That's what they fear. Because if you're not afraid to die, they definitely do not want that. They want you scared because as long as they can keep you scared for your life, they control you.
Yeah. Fear is one of their biggest tools, man. Fear and guilt and, you know, all these other things. I mean, that's tools they use to beat people down with.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, I see John's
Guilt's
back.
another one. I mean, you look about it, the whole concept of original sin, which you heard in the Bible, and then, of course, you know, the left's version of original sin is being a straight white cisgender male. I mean, you know.
Yep. Welcome back, John.
Hey, how are you? I don't know what happened. My call got dropped or something.
Yeah, probably something about truth.
Yeah, probably.
That's most
on my
likely.
phone, all of a sudden I just hear that beep sound. Usually when the call drops, I'm like, oh.
You didn't even hear the beep sound this time, did you?
No, I heard it, but it was just like normally when you hang up and you have that toot toot sound or something on your phone. That's normally what I hear, and I was listening to you guys, and all of a sudden I hear that, and I look at the phone, and it was disconnected, so or it was dropped or something, you know. So I figured they message you again or something. I figured they're back to their usual shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, you know, our one caller did say that he's had a hard time getting into the show. Now, they haven't been censoring us on Blog Talk since I started going live. But I'm sure they're still finding other ways, like making it hard for people to get in sometimes. Kevin one night caught him actually removing my play button for my channel on Blog Talk so people couldn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, I mean, Blog Talk Radio is owned by a politician in the Pentagon. What does that tell you? You shouldn't need to know any more to know that there's going to be censorship once you're taking truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Says truth is the new enemy.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Well, I mean, to the public, the truth has always been there, and I mean, man, you know, I don't think it's any different now than it's ever been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what Zach said there is correct. I can tell you another shield that a lot of people I don't even think know is a shield. And I get a lot of people mad when I talk about this guy. The name would be We Are Change. Lou Podolsky. Yeah, the only change Lou Podolsky ever gave you was to send you right back down the same rabbit hole.
Wait, you said We Are Change?
Yes, it's called We Are Change.
Oh, I don't know why, but it keeps reminding me of what Obama used to say.
You know, it's funny that We Are Change token started off with Ron Paul, the change movement, and ironically, it just kind of morphed into being like Obama's thing, and nobody even called that.
It did. It went over right to Obama's thing. You know, and people don't catch on to the little things they put right in their face.
Yeah.
People get all freaked out. It's like when you say MRA, men's right activists. Then you go MRA, CIA. They go, huh? Then you go feminism, communism, fascism, socialism. Do you think all them names are an accident?
No, not really.
I've got them in my more
Yeah,
here.
all these.
If Jerry's still here, he might be able to provide it for you real quick. It's 153new.net. That's 100,000 they're not able to give away. Yes, there's $100,000 for anybody who can show 32 different false flags. I think it's 32 or 31. He's got a list of the false flags. If you can prove one person died in that list of false flags, you got yourself $100,000. But in 2 years' time that $100,000 sitting there, guess what? The $100,000 is still sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 153news.net.
Yeah.
Yep, that 100,000 is still sitting there
153.
waiting. Well, you know, everybody wants the tool. They all want the money, right? They want the tool. They want the tool. But you know, out of all these false flags that supposedly people died, well, if somebody died now, I got a family member or I got a friend. It's always the same spill, right? But yet now one of them people want $100,000. I'm sure it just pisses them off to no end because they want the $100,000, but they can't get the $100,000 because they know they're a liar.
Yeah, you know.
And that's really all it comes down to. I mean, I absolutely love that. That $100,000 was put on the line for anybody that can prove one death. And how it's been 2 years now and nobody's collected it. That should tell you something about these people saying they had a family member who died. Because you know darn well they want the
Yeah,
money. I mean, come on, Warren. If you had somebody that really died and one of these false flags is in that list, wouldn't you want to go collect that $100,000?
yeah, you know.
That's why it's hilarious. Because it's been sitting there for 2 years, and so far no takers.
Well, yeah, I mean, that tells you something, don't it?
Yes, it does. It speaks volumes. Oh, I'll bet you'd
And you
piss
wonder
it.
what kind of cop-outs they got to get around that, man. I mean,
Well, that's just
why,
it.
why don't people want to come forward? And
Well, Scythorn he fronted InfoWars. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy he went after. But it was awesome. He pissed that guy right off. That guy was telling him, oh no, the shooting in Vegas really happened and people really died. And he was sticking to it. And so then he turned around and said, well, I got $100,000 here for you. He said, well, it was a friend of mine. He says, well, go get your friend. Maybe you can split it in half. And that guy works.
you know.
And that guy works for Alex Jones. And the only thing he did was get pissed. Why? Because he knows he's lying. And he signed that freaking disclosure agreement that Alex Jones makes everybody sign that works for him. That says even when they quit there, they can't tell the truth. Yes, Jason Biggs. That was the name. Thank you, Jerry. It was Jason Biggs of InfoWars. He pissed that guy right off. Because Jason Biggs was sticking to the narrative, the official lie.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I mean, they're all giving their marching orders, right?
Well, that's it, you know. But, you know, he should be a disgrace. It's like, It's like Seinfeld told him, you're committing treason against your own people. Which is technically what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that is technically what Alex Jones is doing, what Jason Goodman is doing, what Monty Graff is doing. That's what these people are doing. But Monty Graff's even a whole lot sicker. We went into that yesterday on this show with Jerry on Monty Graff, and Monty Graff he's a really sick man, but but you can't go at Monty Graff and tell him because you're only going to get attacked, and if you have something up on YouTube, a channel, you won't have it very long. You attack Monty Graff, and that guy's going to jump right over October Runs, and he's going to send his minions after you, and they're going to take you out. And because Monty Graff does have something to do with law enforcement, the man will fucking be able to pull information on you that you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more I can say about the subject other than I'm on board with Zach, and I hope that we can get that done. That would be an awesome thing to happen. Take over the airways. We could wake a whole lot of people up and turn things around. Because it can be done. It's just going to take the right people, and it's going to take people willing to do it. And the only way you're going to have that happen is to change the mindset.
Yeah.
It's not needing to be done forever. This stuff has gone on forever and forever and forever. Well, it's time for people to grow up and put a stop to it.
Well, yeah, the people need to, man. People need you to say hell no to this shit, man, but...
Well, it's as simple as walking away. It's as simple as hell to beat once you can change the mindset. All you got to do is walk away from the system. When the masses walk away from the system, there's not a damn thing they can do about it.
Yeah.
Yep, Zach, I'm with Zach on that. Monty Graff has something coming to him. The motherfucker had a dead squirrel put on his step. Yep, and then he crashed a car into his house and left a big old hole in his wall on Christmas Eve. Yeah, and Monty Graff was behind that. Monty Graff's actually a pretty dangerous guy. And people don't even realize he is. Monty Graff,
I don't doubt it.
he scared the hell out of one of our people that was in this show last night. When Jerry and I was here, she went and found some stuff on Monty Graff, and oh my God, she went to his channel and confronted him on it. And before it was all said and done, he scared the hell out of her.
Yeah.
Now, you said you have connections to law enforcement?
Oh, yes. I posted a video up.
Now,
I did post a video up on my face.
In the past, or was...
Oh, I let Monty Graff tell on himself. I put a video together and put it up on Facebook because I didn't dare put it on YouTube, I've got it over on the other site. Tomorrow I'm going to post it up on 153news.net. I'm going to post it up there tomorrow. And I let Monty Graff run his own mouth. He actually tells on himself. And I put everything right in everybody's face. And I really did. I mean, and I knew I didn't dare put it on YouTube. But I collected a bunch of stuff on Monty with Monty's own mouth, and I put it in everybody's face.
No kidding. Zachary says he got a woman who follows him fired from her job because she threatened him with an inappropriate remark, and he reported that information to her employer. That says something.
Yeah. Monty Graff's got, well, you want to say long arms? He's got connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy's actually pretty sick. There's not a lot I can say about it,
Yeah,
but
I don't doubt it, man.
Monty Graff needs shut down. He needs brought down. There's no doubt about that. Another red flag for you.
You say he's connected to Mossad?
Yes, he is. I think he's Jason Goodman's.
Well, that right there, that right there says a lot, though. That's
yes,
a lot
it
of
does.
Power. That's the case.
Yeah, he's connected to Mossad. Jason Goodman's connected to Mossad. Jason Goodman lives in a $4 million apartment. Travels all over the place. And then Jason Goodman needs your money. He needs your donations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I mean, you gotta be careful who's out there these days, man. I mean,
he's not somebody that the average person should go mess with, period. And I would be careful about it until you got enough to take him out. Because I think the guy will find you otherwise. I mean, come on. I know damn well he had no way of really knowing. I mean, to begin with, to do what he did to Zach means he was able to find Zach's location and come to it. So that should tell you something. You could come up and do a YouTube
so why
account.
did you go after Zach?
Well,
what exactly did Zach do?
Zach has the information.
What did he talk to him about?
Zachary Hubbard, because he got into it with Monty Graff. And Monty Graff went after it.
Okay. About what?
About what? Well, because Monty Graff's a liar. He's a shield. He's a plant.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, how did it go down? Like, give me the play-by-play, like, what exactly went down?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that'll be up to...
specific details.
That would be up to Zach if he wants to give the exact details.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Of how it actually went down, but I do know...
we got like 4 minutes left, so it's going to be a lengthy response, man. I mean, he's probably not going to on me.
Yeah, he went after Shields.
After Shields and Monograph said those were his employees. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think Monograph is Jason Goodman's employee. I can't say for sure, but I think Monograph is probably under Jason Goodman. But see, all it would take is something like that with Monograph. You know, I made one video and I made a comment and I said straight to Monty on YouTube, I'd like to know who your handler is. Oh, did he get pissed?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Dabu 7, oh, I've known Dabu's been a plant for a long time and so many people fall for his crap. End of the Stars, yep, definitely. Richie from Boston, I've always had question marks on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I believe we're almost up out of time here, ain't we?
Yeah.
We have a caller, an unavailable number. I got 2 minutes left. They blocked their numbers, so are you a troll?
We'll call in the last 3 minutes.
Let's find out.
Okay, unavailable caller, you're in the show if you want to say something.
Huh? That's me. Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
another show.
Hey, Bill.
Yes,
Bill.
I hear you.
The reason YouTube has your video of
90 seconds.
is because YouTube is in California, and they're in Western Standard Time, and you're in Mountain Time.
Oh, but that's never
So they're not
happened. But
actually-
that's never happened before, Guy. When I schedule it for my time, it comes in on my time base. That's the first time that's ever happened.
No, but I don't think that they're really doing that to mess people from not wanting to watch your show.
60 seconds.
Well, people, we're about out of time anyhow. So with that being said, I'm going to call it a show. And I appreciate everybody for being here. And thank you, Zach, for being here. Thank you, Jerry. And thank you to the rest. I'll be back here Thursday night with Warren up on Blog Talk Radio. And then I'll be back live up on YouTube and Blog Talk Radio again on Sunday night with Jerry. So until then, everybody, thanks a lot. John, I appreciate your call. And until the next show, you guys all have a good one.
All right, take care.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.